What can I say except you're Stockholm and you need a little Disney fix? Hey, it's okay, you're not alone, and that's why Phil's doing this.
From the Ear to There Travel Studio, this is the Ear to There Disney Podcast.
The Ear to There Podcast, it's time to start the show. Be sure to hold on tight, here we go. Exploring all the different Disney destinations. Ear to There, it's time to start the fun.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Ear to There Disney Podcast, Walt Disney World Word of the Week. And we're doing 2 this week. So this is, well, listen, with the way everything is right now, I'm going to just keep putting podcast episodes out there. I hope you keep listening. There will be no real method to the madness. There's just going to be lots of episodes each and every weekday. So stay tuned, enjoy, keep listening. This episode's Walt Disney World Word show is brought to you by the letter P. P for Plaza. Yes, I'm talking all about, now listen, we always say Disney World, Walt Disney World Word of the Week. I reserve the right to do Disneyland Words of the Week as well. So this week it's all about the Plaza Inn on Main Street, USA in Walt's original park, Disneyland. Now this restaurant has just an amazing, crazy amount of history and stories, and I didn't really realize the great history of this location until I was out there about a year ago and heard some stories about the Plaza Inn, which was previously the Red Wagon Inn. And I heard some stories and I just was blown away, and there were so many cool little factoids. Is that a word? It's a word, right? Factoids and things about the Plaza Inn that I thought, yeah, that could be a really good word of the week. And here we go. This is it. So let's talk about it. Now, before I talk about the Red Wagon Inn or the Plaza Inn, we have to talk about Club 33. So you know about Club 33. You probably do. You've probably heard about it. They built locations in Walt Disney World now, but back a few years ago, the only Club 33 that was built was in Disneyland, and it had been there for about 50 years. And the reason it was built was that Walt Disney wanted a special location to take his VIPs and the people that came to visit the park, like presidents of other countries, CEOs of these huge businesses, all these special guests. He wanted a place to take them where it was private, where they could be served alcohol, honestly. And he wanted this place to serve fancy gourmet food. Now, Club 33 in Disneyland opened on June 15th, 1967. And unfortunately, Walt passed away in December of 1966, so he never got to use the facilities of Club 33. But, and this is where the really cool history of the Plaza Inn comes in, before, from 1955 until Walt's death in 1966, the Red Wagon Inn or the Plaza Inn was that place where Walt would entertain and take these dignitaries and these VIPs. So hang with me. We're going to go back a little further, and this is going to get a little bit funkier. Funky Cold Medina, maybe. Remember that song? The Funky Cold Medina. That was pretty good. Come on, man. For a 41-year-old white guy to do a Tone Loc impression, just out of thin air, that was good. All right. Wild thing. All right. Enough of that stuff. Enough of the nonsense. Let's get back to the show. So when Disneyland was being built, the money started to run out, right? Everything cost more than Walt thought it would. So what did Walt do? He started bringing in outside vendors to help kind of siphon off that cost. So things like selling balloons on Main Street, to selling newspapers in front of the park, to running the restaurants in Disneyland. Look, Walt had no experience doing any of this stuff. So he figured, hey, I can bring in these people. They already have experience in selling balloons and running restaurants and selling, food and beverage on the street to people. So I can bring these people in. This is Walt now. So just imagine this This is him saying this. He says, I can bring these people in. They can rent the space from me. I will take, some of the profit, but they will make a profit as well. It's a win-win. So Walt brings in companies like Coca-Cola to run the Coca-Cola Refreshment Corner on Main Street, USA. He has Maxwell, the coffee company, come in and do the Maxwell Coffee Shop. Carnation comes in and does the ice cream parlor on Main Street as well. Fantasyland has the Pirate Ship restaurant that was run by Chicken of the Sea, which is a tuna fish company, Jessica Simpson. It's not a chicken, right? Remember that? Who remembers that show Newlyweds with Nick Lachey and Jessica Simpson? I remember that because I watched that show. And Jessica Simpson was eating it, and she's like, is this chicken or is this tuna? That's my Jessica Simpson. This is full of impressions so far. I can't believe that was real, by the way. There's no way Jessica Simpson actually thought what she was eating out of that can was chicken. Chicken of the sea is tuna. It's the cup. Anyway, it doesn't make a lot of sense thinking about it. When you say like chicken of the sea, like 4 times, like I just did in this podcast, it stops making sense. You know how you do that with a word? You like say the word over and over and over again, and then it loses its meaning. Like the word perfume, right? Say perfume, perfume, perfume. And then it's just this weird combination of syllables that you're putting together that really doesn't make any sense. But anyway, all right, this is taking weird turns. There was a perfume store in Disneyland, actually, and there still is a perfume store in New Orleans Square in Disneyland. Okay. They also had Pepsi Cola. Pepsi sponsored the Golden Horseshoe, which was really weird because there was Pepsi at the Golden Horseshoe and then Coca-Cola at Coke Corner. Yes, at one point, both Coke and Pepsi were served in Disneyland. How cool is that? And which one do you, again, I'm taking another aside. Which one do you prefer? Are you a Coke person or are you a Pepsi person? Honestly, if you're answering this, if you're a Pepsi person, I can't trust you. We can't be friends. I mean, come on. It's not, Coke is a much more superior product. Anyway, as I alienate half of my listening audience, then it was the Aunt Jemima Pancake House and the Casa de Fritos Mexican Cantina in Frontierland. Anyway, this is a long-winded way to say that when Disneyland opened on July 17, 1955, Walt Disney's personal favorite restaurant was the Red Wagon Inn on Main Street, USA. Why was it called the Red Wagon Inn? Well, because it was sponsored by Swift Premium Foods, and Swift Premium Foods' logo at the time was a red horse-drawn delivery wagon. You want to talk something really cool? I just happen to have in my possession, actually in my hand right now, listen. You hear it? I was just flapping it around. In my hand right now, a menu from the Red Wagon Inn in Disneyland. This is a children's menu. I got it. It's an original menu I got on eBay a while back. I didn't put it in a frame. It's not in a frame, and I was just flapping it around. I probably damaged it. But on the back of it, it has pictures of Snow White, Lady and the Tramp, Casey Jr., Pluto, and Monstro. And not only are these cute little character names and pictures, they also represent the different meals that your kid under 12 could get at the Red Wagon Inn in the 50s. The Snow White meal consisted of roast turkey, potatoes, vegetable, your choice of ice cream, sherbet, Jell-O, or an ice cream bar, and your choice of milk, chocolate, or buttermilk for $1.25. By the way, buttermilk, that was a thing that kids drank in the 50s and 60s. Whenever I had to get it for a recipe, I'd pour it into the glass and I'm like, that's thick. The Pluto was a hot dog on a bun with potatoes and vegetable, your choice of ice cream, sherbet, Jell-O, or ice cream bar, and your choice of milk, chocolate milk, or buttermilk, again for 95 cents. The Lady and the Tramp was spaghetti and meatballs, of course it was, with a roll and butter, your choice, again, ice cream, sherbet, Jell-O, or an ice cream bar, milk, chocolate milk, or buttermilk for $1.25. The Monstro was a halibut steak. Halibut steak? All right. Potatoes, vegetable, choice of ice cream, sherbet, Jell-O, ice cream bar, milk, chocolate milk, buttermilk, $1.25. And finally, the Casey Jr., which was prominently featured in the middle of the menu. The Casey Jr. had chopped sirloin patty, again, potatoes, vegetable, ice cream, sherbet, Jell-O, ice cream bar, with that choice of milk, chocolate milk, or buttermilk for $1. So the steak was the cheapest of all of the things on the menu. That's crazy. Okay, so the Red Wagon Inn was the only restaurant in all of Disneyland that served full course meals, full course dinners. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner were all served at the Red Wagon Inn. And there were different rooms. There were different dining rooms that you could sit in. And you could imagine when you walk into the Plaza Inn these days, all the different separate rooms that are in there. The gold room and the green room were dining rooms that were designed for guests, for regular day guests. But there were also 2 secret dining rooms that were in the Red Wagon Inn as well. Did I say also and as well? I'm going to leave it in there, but that's not right. That's redundant. Anyway, I'm just on a roll here. I'm not going back. So the secret dining rooms, the first one was the in-between, spelled I-N-N with the extra N. I know, it was the Red Wagon Inn, 2 N's, so the in-between. This was called the in-between because it was located in between Main Street and Tomorrowland. So it's still part of that restaurant, but in that little area between Main Street and Tomorrowland. And this was a cast member only private little dining room. And this also happened to be the first ever cast member cafeteria in all of Disneyland. Now, the other dining room that was there was the Hideaway, or as it was called when Walt was around, the Hideout. This is where Walt would take his private guests and the dignitaries and the luminaries and the celebrities. And there was a secret private entrance on the side of the Red Wagon Inn where the guests would go, where Walt would take them. It was a spot that regular guests couldn't get to. And actually, we had a friend when I was out there take us through that entrance. It's now a cast member only entrance, but we got to walk through so you can see where that was. It's back behind the little Red Wagon corn dog cart there, which is a super, super famous Disneyland corn dog cart. And it got its name because it's right next to what was once the Red Wagon Inn. So the Hideout or the Hideaway had a fully stocked bar, and it was the only place in all of Disneyland that served alcohol. Of course, Walt was known to have a drink with his friends and his guests from time to time, or 1 or 2 every night after work, a Scotch mist. Listen, you've seen Mad Men. You know what it was like in the 50s and 60s. Anyway, the Hideaway, in addition to serving alcohol, it also had its own little private bathroom. So the luminaries and dignitaries didn't have to hobnob among us regular folk. Hobnob is that's a word, right? Yeah, I'm going with it. So the menu at the Red Wagon Inn originally offered different types of food like steaks, chops, and Swift's quality meats. You know how I've said on this show a bunch that the theme park food, the food in Walt Disney World and Disneyland isn't just burgers, fries, and hot dogs? Well, here you go. All the way back in 1955, Disneyland wasn't just burgers, fries, and hot dogs. So the Red Wagon Inn served the Swift foods for a decade, for about 10 years. And it was shut down in 1965 by Walt Disney when the lease with Swift Foods ran out. At that point, Disneyland was a huge, huge success, and Walt had bought back most of the leased places and restaurants, and he owned almost all of the park. So once the Swift lease ran out, he decided it would be rethemed. The Red Wagon Inn would be rethemed. He put famous Disney legend and Imagineer John Hench on the redesign team. It became a cafeteria-style restaurant, much like it is today, and it was renamed the Plaza Inn back in 1965. Actually opened one day after Disneyland's 10-year anniversary on July 18th, 1965, as the Plaza Inn. Now, some of my favorite things about the Plaza Inn are the details, the tile floors, the woodwork, the awesome front door of the place with its stained glass. This was actually taken, all this stuff was taken from a mansion in Los Angeles and installed into the Red Wagon Inn when they were building it. On the menu, on the back of the menu of the Red Wagon Inn, it said, and I quote, "The Red Wagon Inn on the Plaza in Disneyland offers elegance and glamour reminiscent of famed eating houses of yesterday. Turn-of-the-century furnishings are authentic mementos of the 1890s. The leaded cut glass entrance doors to the Red Wagon Inn, as well as the stained glass ceiling and back panel of the lobby, were taken from the mansion at number 20 St. James Park in Los Angeles. This home was built in 1870 and was one of the luxury homes of the era. Walt Disney purchased this home and removed all the hand-carved paneling, newel posts, grand stairway, and stained glass that has been used here in the Red Wagon Inn. Now, if you haven't been to the Plaza Inn in Disneyland, I suggest you go on your next visit, on your first visit. Listen, you have to go there. And really, there's only one thing to get there. It's the fried chicken. It's some of the best fried chicken I've ever had in my life. I'm not kidding, even a little bit. It's amazing. Listen, I know I have vegan listeners. I know I have vegetarian listeners, and I'm sorry. I am an omnivore, and I can't. Listen, the mashed potatoes are really good, too. They get mashed potatoes with it. They are amazing. So there you go, vegans and vegetarians. Get mashed potatoes. Just get a whole plate of that if you want. But if you aren't a vegan, you're not a vegetarian, try the Plaza Inn fried chicken. Holy shamoly. It is absolutely delicious. And that's going to do it for this week's or this day's episode of the Walt Disney World Word of the Week. Thank you so much for listening. I really hope you enjoyed this episode. This was a fun one. And I kid you not, you have to get to Disneyland. Listen, I know you can't leave your house right now, or you can just go outside, walk around the block with your dog, take the kids on the bikes. I get it. I get you're probably not planning a trip right now. I get it. But listen, I'm going to be here after this is all over. I'll help you with that Disneyland trip. But more importantly, I will tell you to get the fried chicken. I will always tell you, get the fried chicken at the Plaza Inn. Go for the fried chicken, stay for the cool ambiance, walk around, look at and I didn't even mention this in the body part of the show, but the soda machines look like they're old copper soda machines or brass soda machines. It's a Disney Imagineering trick. They're not metal at all. They're wooden, but they look like they're brass. It's just a really fancy, cool counter service restaurant. You got to go. Anyway, thank you so much for listening. I really, like I said, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope these episodes can take your mind off of everything that's going on in the world, and you can just have fun and enjoy yourself and smile. And I mean, really, that's what I'm here for. So listen, new episodes are coming at you almost daily, hopefully daily. We had a hiccup because my wife was sick this week. She just had strep throat. And I know, just had. It's insane to say because it can be serious for adults, but she's feeling much better and the episodes are going to be rolling. So thank you so much for listening. Have just an amazing week and stay safe and enjoy the time with your families. And hopefully you are healthy and just, thank goodness you are. And thank you for listening again. Just have a great day. Bye-bye.
Here to there.